currently on the Mount Mitchell Trail, beginning my hike for the day. I'll give you an overview in a little bit, but for now, just enjoy the dense southern Appalachian spruce-fir forest on the side of Mount Mitchell. Hey everyone, it's Sunday, July 9th, around 12:20 p.m. and this is my first hike in a few weeks since Roan Mountain. I've had a busy couple of weekends, but I'm glad to get back out on the trail. I've already been hiking over an hour and a half. I'm in the Black Mountains of North Carolina, and initially I parked at the Mount Mitchell summit and I descended on the Balsam Nature Trail and Mount Mitchell Trail, which was the first segment of this video, through the thick spruce-fir forest. Once I reached Camp Alice, I turned left on the Buncombe Horse Range Trail, and I've been following that north for a couple of miles. That horse trail follows a very old roadbed, and it's incredibly muddy today because it's been raining all week. And I'm kind of not super happy right now because my feet are already covered in mud and very wet, but I still have a long day ahead of me. So my goal is to continue on the Buncombe Trail to Maple Camp Bald, which is in that direction, and from there take the Big Tom Gap Trail up to the Crest Trail and continue north. So I have to bushwhack to Cattail Peak, which is pretty easy, but then I have to go all the way to Deep Gap, descend, ascend Winter Star, get to the side of Gibbs Mountain, and that's a gnarlier bushwhack from what I've read. And then turn around and do Deep Gap all over again and climb all the way to Mount Mitchell. So I've got a lot of steep up and downs today. I've got to do a couple of these 6,000 foot peaks twice. It should be about 14 miles or so. I don't know about the bushwhacks, but probably going to be about a 7 or 8 hour day. I'm currently on Fork Ridge, which is one of the two main viewpoints on the Buncombe Horse Range Trail. The second is Maple Camp. And you can see behind me, awesome open views of Mount Mitchell right above me, and Mount Craig and Balsam Cone behind, which are covered in clouds. The weather should be clearing up in the afternoon. It's supposed to be open sun in the low 60s. I hope you enjoy this video. It's going to be a tough hike. This is the beautiful open area on Fork Ridge. The Buncombe Horse Range Trail is 100 feet over there. This is a great campsite and one of two awesome viewpoints on this section of trail I'm doing. Get a view of the South Toe River headwaters, and this massive bulk ahead of me is Mount Mitchell. You can actually see the observation tower on the top there. Dead center. And this is the crest that connects to Mount Craig and Big Tom, which are up there. And actually, when I first did this hike a few years ago, without a GPS, I only had my map and compass. I actually mistook this area for Maple Camp Bald. It's actually really similar in elevation and contour with the trail. And I thought I couldn't find the Big Tom Gap Trail because it's not maintained. So me and a friend believed that to be Big Tom Gap. And I bushwhacked all the way up the side, about 1,000 feet, to the summit of Mount Craig through really dense brush and spruce forest. That was quite an adventure. So this time I'm tracking the loop, and I'll make sure it goes up on Hiking Upward. This is a great loop to do. This is my future. That's Balsam Cone covered in clouds, and Maple Camp Bald is right over there. So should be about 20 or 30 minutes until I get over there. And there should be another great view. Made it to the beautiful, isolated Maple Camp Bald. This is not the true summit. It's right up there through the shrubs. I went up there to see if there was a better view, and there's not. The last time I was here, I never got up to the top, so I officially bagged the peak. I think it's 5,564 feet. I don't know why I would remember that off the top of my head, but it's somewhere around that. So we got some awesome views down into the South Toe River Valley, a few thousand feet below. That is Commissary Ridge in the foreground, where the Mount Mitchell Trail descends. And this peak dead center is Green Knob, which I did a couple months ago with the lookout tower. Might be able to see it on video. Maybe not. I was there earlier on Fork Ridge, that finger that's kind of flat in the foreground, and then in the background is Mount Mitchell. And straight up above, you can see the skies are clearing. It's getting nice and blue. I'm looking straight at Big Tom, and Mount Craig is right beside it. And that is Big Tom Gap, which I am going to ascend soon, and Balsam Cone right above it. So a really awesome grassy area that not many people visit. After I left Fork Ridge and went along the Buncombe Horse Range Trail, it became incredibly overgrown. Basically all the way here, it was grass and briars up to my knees, especially after I passed the Big Tom Gap Trail. But it was mostly grass on the way here, so it didn't hurt. Felt kind of nice actually. But now I have to return along the trail and pick up the Big Tom Gap Trail around right here and climb up to Balsam Cone. I'm back at the junction with the Big Tom Gap Trail and Buncombe Horse Range Trail, and I'm going to bust out the map and show you what I've done and what I'm going to do next. I'm using the South Toe River Mount Mitchell Big Ivy map by the USDA Forest Service. These are the 1 in 24,000 scale maps that I like to use. I began at Mount Mitchell and followed the Balsam Nature Trail, and then as you can see 190 and 440 is the Mount Mitchell Trail and the Mountains to Sea Trail, and I ended up at Commissary Hill. I referred to it in the video as Camp Alice, but I got them mixed up. So I continued on the Horse Range Trail north to here, that's Fork Ridge. And then next to Maple Camp Bald, which this says is 5,613 feet. I don't know if that's accurate or there might be a different version online. Now I'm about to take 191A to Big Tom Gap and follow the crest trail north towards Cattail Peak, which is off trail, but it's only a few hundred feet from what I believe. And I might actually cut this hike short because it's almost 2 o'clock and I'm really behind time, because my original plan would be to continue down in a deep gap up Winter Star Mountain and all the way to Gibbs Mountain. As you can see, that's quite a distance. Even though this map is a very zoomed in scale, it's still a few miles. I think it'd be about 6 miles total with a lot of climbing. So I might end up just turning around at Cattail Peak and following the crest trail back to Mount Mitchell. We'll see. I'll know when I get up there about my speed. The Big Tom Gap Trail, pretty overgrown and steep. I don't think it's officially maintained anymore, but I'm getting close to the top. I made it to the inaccurate sign for Cattail Peak. The climb from Big Tom Gap to Balsam Cone was much easier than the climb on the Big Tom Gap Trail. But actually this section between Balsam Cone and this spot has been a little longer, rockier, and muddier than I remember. It's taken me longer than I thought it would, and it's 2:45. So I think I'm going to bushwhack to Cattail Peak and turn around. I still have a few more miles on this trail to Gibbs Mountain, which would make it where I probably wouldn't finish until 8 or 9 o'clock tonight, and that's just a little too late for me. I'd rather turn around now, finish around 4:30, and get home at a reasonable time. Anyways, this sign is not on the summit. It lists Cattail Peak as 6,583 feet. I have it on my phone as 6,600 even, so I don't know which is accurate. Anyways, the trail is going to start turning to the left there, and then I'm just going to follow the ridge line to the summit. It says I'm only 850 feet from the summit right now, so it should be pretty quick. Made it to the summit of Cattail Peak. And the USGS marker is nice and clear. It says it was surveyed last in 1993. Pretty easy to find. It was just a mixture of the dense evergreen forest and some high ferns and stuff. It took me less than 10 minutes. I checked the map, and if it was 6,600 feet, it would have a contour. So I'm pretty sure 6,583 feet is the correct elevation. So this is my 24th 6,000 footer out of 40 in the southeast. And I think 22 out of 35 on another list. So I'm about 60% of the way there. And unfortunately, I'm going to turn around. I don't have enough time or energy to go on to Gibbs Mountain today, so I'll have to do another hike. But now I'm going to go back on the crest trail and go over Big Tom, Mount Craig, and Mount Mitchell. This is a nice cliff viewpoint just below the summit of Big Tom. I'm looking west right now into the Cane River Valley, and the big peak right there is Big Butte. And I just climbed out of Big Tom Gap down below there from Balsam Cone, and you can see Cattail Peak behind it. So I'm about to summit Big Tom and Mount Craig, and then finish up with Mount Mitchell. It might get pretty busy, so I'm not sure how much talking I'm going to do from here on out, but you should still enjoy the awesome scenery coming up. That was a climb that was longer than I remember. At the summit of Big Tom, 6,580 feet according to this plaque. Might be right. There's the benchmark. Not really a view. That's why I stopped at the cliff below. This is surrounded by what people term as a ghost forest. This is one of the worst examples in the Black Mountains. There's another benchmark. This is one of the worst examples of the death of hemlocks and spruce and fir in these mountains. It used to be just a combination of harsh weather and acid rain, but what's really turned the tide is the woolly adelgid. I don't remember how to say that, but it's that tiny bug that kills these trees. So it looks cool, but it's kind of sad. Anyways, there's Mount Craig right there, and Mount Mitchell in the distance. I think I only have about 1.7 miles to go or less, so less than an hour. I'm pretty tired. I'm glad I made the option to cut this hike short. And actually, I'm really surprised. I've only passed one person on this trail for like 2.5 hours. I've only seen 2 people in about 5 hours. So everyone must be at the summit. We'll see. There's Mount Mitchell. I'm on Mount Craig right now. On the final leg. This is a sad sight to see. This is a lot clearer than last time I was here. It looks like they cleared a lot of the dead trees closest to the trail. There's Mount Mitchell up there. This used to be fully covered in this ghost forest. Now it's just everything's dead. The crowded summit of Mount Mitchell. Hard to get pictures and video up there. This is the best view to the south though.
It's almost 5.
A little bit less traffic on the walkway down, and you still get wide open views to the northeast and east of Grandfather Mountain and Linville Gorge. And probably the best view right here of the Black Mountains north. That does it for the hike. Ended up being 10.2 miles in roughly 6 hours. This wasn't my best day of hiking. My right foot has a lot of hot spots, maybe a blister. My right knee definitely hurting from a lot of impact. So I went a lot slower than I thought I was going to go today. And I'll just have to save the Gibbs Mountain Peak bag for another day. Otherwise, really beautiful views as always up here in the Black Mountains. Unfortunately, Mount Mitchell was really packed. I didn't really get good video clips up there, but you've seen it before from me and other people, so just enjoy it. You know, I'll let you know in what direction, what peaks you're looking at online. Otherwise, glad I finished up early. It's 5 o'clock. Got a $1 soda from the gift shop over there. and I'm gonna head on home, stop at a brewery, and get home early today. See you guys next time.